I think meditation is a good time out from the usual busyness of noise and can help accelerate it. I do now. Meditation, as I said, I had a guy that was coming to my groups in a hall that I was putting on, and it was a few years ago, so it's probably a bit more non-duality in those days. So most people ran away screaming from the building. The first one I had, I started speaking about the nature of self, and that, I was pretty, I took the dial up to 11 straight away. I was like, scared the life out of people, right? And because it was just so clear and so vibrant, so enthusiastically wanting to be shared from here, it was with not much wisdom. And I remember I had 12 people in a group, and people were scratching their heads and thinking, yeah, this isn't like my spiritual church I go to. What the hell is this group? It's not a spiritual group. and so, I could see people nodding off, but I was so unaware, I couldn't read the room anyway because I was very green. And I ended up with, one guy who'd done loads of Vipassana retreats, but he still hadn't cracked through this. So the Vipassana retreats he was a lovely man, lovely guy, very peaceful and, really calm. I was prepared to explore, and the fear had dropped away of exploring all of these things, but he just hadn't had anyone to guide him to look at that identification that's always going on in the background. And as I've said before, we worked together over a couple of 3 weeks, I think, and there was just this light bulb moment. It freaked the hell out of him. But he loved it. And then he wanted it back straight away. He's like, well, it's there. It's always there. It doesn't matter. The only thing that wants to get it, the only thing that wants to hold on to it, is the entity that's created in the thoughts in the first place. And these groups are just reminding itself of that. It's just from a different perspective. It's a perspective shift. But all of that background processing doesn't need to get rid that. All those character traits don't need to be gotten rid of. It just needs to have a bit of a prism shift to see it for what it is. And then that's beautiful. All of those character traits, all of those quirks are beautiful. The way Chris has evolved and appeared this way, and every mannerism and word and blink and speak, words spoken, and struggling in different languages is just this vibrance expressing so uniquely and beautifully that way. That's the way it looks. It's already just a flow of open life. It's only the thinking mind that tries to capture, quantify, objectify, separate, and say, now I have to get it. And I have to get it because I have my biology and I have to stay alive. And if I don't get it, then I won't feel secure. So I'll have fear of dying and all of that. And it's just part of the program, part of the way the biology is integrated with the biological survival mechanism. And it's just the way it has expressed as us. This has expressed as us. So that's enough to sort of go, okay, this is all the flow, and this part of this expression is part of that flow change. And it's the same old thing that the human mind always wants to catch this infinitely complex, changeable nature of this thing. It's just always complex energy at play and change. And it can't be caught. It's infinitely complexly expressing and changing, constantly changing. We only see things as static because, we see a tree decay, but it takes a long time. So we say it sort of has form and it's a static object. It's just vibrating, billions of particles vibrating and changing. They just change. It's in the state of change. The form changes, in what we call instantaneously, or, it's 100 years, whatever. It's always changing, but it's just different states of change. And the human mind just quantifies all of that. But really, it's never static. It's always changing. So those snapshots, the grabbing of the river, the snapshots of the mind grabbing the flowing river constantly, so I can look at it and make sense of it. That's just a game of the human mind. And it's okay. It just does that. It's just funny to look at, you know. And we, in a discussion like this, we can look at it and be open with it. But when the mind in the daily life gets, you know, crowded with doing up to the limit of its capacity, that little 10% thinking mind at the top that gets all its capacity used up. If you're just living in that capacity and you don't even realize there's an access, there's an openness to the whole, and this is just in a human being, a limited human being expression as biology, but that if that doesn't even get accessed, then the capacity can be used up and there's very little space to allow this, firstly, the flow of intelligent thinking through this brain, but allow the unknowable nature of the flow of this to also be integrated and expressed in through this biology, because that's just feels like what's going on. This is once again from an idea that idea of separation is gone, or in this discussion it's easily seen, maybe forgotten when we leave this discussion, but and that's okay. But that intelligent energy that's at play, that's happening through a human brain, is just part of this. It's never separate.